Sweethearts, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about the power of intention setting and how to approach intention setting in a practical way so that way you can implement it into your daily routine. I've just gotten back from watching Sinners for the second time, and I'm feeling like I'm in a very spiritual space, which is why this video in particular is going to be touching on spiritual topics. Now, if you're new to my channel, hello, my name is Aigner. I make health and wellness content, also healing content, so you can liberate your mind, body, and soul. Backed by my scientific background in biopsychology, I also am a scientist and a holistic health practitioner. So we have the best of both worlds going on today. And in this video, I'm going to be doing just that, giving you the scientific background and a little bit of holistic health and spiritual background as well. So let's get into it. What is intention setting and why is it so vital for our day-to-day lives and in hopes of sticking to our goals? So intention setting for me, spiritually, I like to define it as an agreement with the universe or your source, God, that you are going to show up as this, fill in the blank with the intention. So please send me opportunities to be that. This is how I'm going to put action towards this day. Please send me those opportunities that will help facilitate me in doing that. That's what I feel like the spiritual meaning of intention setting is. Psychologically, intention setting basically is a mental note in your head that you can keep at your disposal in order to defer back to it. Previously on this channel, we talked about topics like productivity markers and micro habits. And if you haven't seen those videos, I suggest you watching those as well, where we do get into the psychological phenomenon of habit forming and how we can use that to be more productive. Being intentional is psychologically how you form better habits. So if you haven't seen that video, be sure to check that one out. On this channel, I'm always going to bring you practical strategies that I've done myself. And I always say, and I always joke that I've come up with another groundbreaking or I come up with another genius idea. And honestly, that's what I'm going to deliver to you every single time. I'm going to give you strategies and ideas that I feel like are actually meaningful but work. So I've lived through this advice that I'm about to give you. And here's what I found. Using the word retreat in your intention is like the lock and key with the universe on actually solidifying that intention. So basically what you're doing is you're classifying whatever your intention is as a retreat. So for example, I would say, today I am going on a spiritual retreat. Today I am going on a productivity retreat. Today I am going on a rest retreat. Whatever your intention is for that day, follow it up by the word retreat. I realized that this was working for me when I used it to describe a trip that I was having in Philly. Now, this trip was for a health and wellness, mind, body, spirit recharge event. But instead of saying, oh yeah, I'm going to this health and wellness, mind, body, and spirit wellness event, I just called it a spiritual retreat as a way to paraphrase what I was actually doing. So it wasn't intentional that I was setting this intention, but because of that, my day became extremely intentional. So basically the day just entailed going to the Penn Museum, and there was a lot of spiritual spaces being held, i.e. yoga, sound bath, arts and crafts. There were spiritual vendors. That's what the day was meant for. When I shortened that into spiritual retreat, it's like I was able to decode exactly what the universe needed to hear in order to bring me that. So that whole day was just so aligned, honestly. From start to finish, everything was a spiritual moment. When I tell you I got off the train, it was like 11:30. I was like, well, I got time to kill, so might as well get my nails done or something. Booked a nail appointment right then and there. called an Uber. The Uber was outside waiting. She accepted the ride right then and there. And when I got in the car, I realized that she was a woman. I've actually never had an Uber driver woman before. So that was a very new experience for me, being able to talk to this person throughout the whole entire ride. And I realized how dope she was. So that was a great experience. And as I was getting out, we both were like, you know what, you're pretty cool. So just kicking that day off in good vibes. She drops me off at the nail salon and I walk in and I say, hey, I have an appointment. And she's like, you do? When did you book your appointment? And I was like, well, I booked it like 15 minutes ago. And she was like, honestly, you're in luck because I wasn't gonna come in today. So again, right there telling me that I'm in alignment. I get my nails done, we're chatting, and I tell her that I'm on a spiritual retreat. And because I use these words again, she tells me that me getting my nails done is a part of my spiritual retreat. Again, confirmation from the universe that my intentions are manifesting. These are the nails that I got when I went to Philly, and they're, I don't know if you can see, but they're like really sparkly and they look like the universe. So again, confirmation. So after the nail salon is when I actually went to the retreat. It's really interesting how this day worked out in my favor, because when I got there, I didn't realize that I needed to sign up prior for each individual event. So I didn't sign up for yoga because I signed up for the whole entire thing. So I didn't know that I needed to sign up for yoga. So when I got there, she was like, oh, did you sign up? And I was like, yeah. But she's like, did you sign up for yoga? And I was like, no. And she's like, there's a chance that it's booked up. So something in me told me to look to see that if it was booked up or not. And there was only 2 available spots left. So right then and there, I signed up and I was able to participate. Because, like I said, I'm on a spiritual retreat. Everything is working out in my favor because that's the intention that I set. And then long story short, as I was wrapping up the day and leaving back to go home, I was getting on the train. And at this time, the trains are kind of packed, so we're starting to double up. A woman comes and she asked me if she can sit next to me. And I'm like, yeah, that's fine. And, you know, we started opening up the conversations and started talking about more spiritual topics. And when I was starting to get off the train, she told me that, you know, I just felt safe enough to sit here next to you. Like something about you was very magnetic that I just knew that I could sit next to you and be okay. And that to me was just like the confirmation of the whole entire day. Someone feeling safe enough to sit next to me on a crowded train of all people just tells me that what the intention that I set earlier that day, I am living and vibrating in that frequency. Now, because I had such a great day, and I usually, you know, Philly can be hectic. And when I got home, I sat with this day and I was just like, what made that so amazing? Like, why was everything just so perfectly aligned? It dawned on me that it was because I set that intention. So I started to dig a little bit deeper as to why that specific word, retreat, is what worked so well. And here's what I've gathered. So by definition, the word retreat means the act of moving back to or returning to something. And that's such a powerful word when you actually sit with that and think about it. When you set your intention, it means that you are returning back to that thing. So if I set my intention for a spiritual retreat, that means I am moving back into a space of spirituality. I am returning to my spirit. And I just love the way that feels, honestly, because then it also implies that it was never out of reach and it was never not within you. It's not like I am going on a spiritual hunt where I have to go and locate the thing. No, I'm going on a spiritual retreat where I'm just returning back to it, where it's always been this whole entire time. And I think that is what really truly unlocks the power of that word and your intention setting, because now you're putting it on you. Now you're finding it from within. Now you're entering a space where it's within you and not outside of you. now you're just existing in this space. You're just vibrating at this frequency. And that is the pinnacle of intention setting. Not just saying you're going to do something, but vibrating at that frequency so that the environment around you can shift and meet you there. I'm not ever going to stop using this technique. And this is how I use it on my day-to-day basis. Now, on this channel, you've seen this whiteboard. So many times you've seen this whiteboard. This is my productivity management tool. And on this whiteboard, I'm just gonna go get it. So on this whiteboard, it's actually really big. I write today's top 3. And today's top 3 is just my commitment to the day, that I'm only going to focus on a manageable to-do list. So today's top 3 is what I usually put on my whiteboard. And then underneath that, I just write what I'm gonna do. But because I started this new technique, I do today's top 3, and underneath I write the intention. So this is yesterday's top 3. And the intention, my intention for yesterday was, I am going on a productivity retreat. Verbatim, I am returning to a state of productivity. And like I said in the beginning of the video, this is me telling the universe that I'm going to show up productive. So please shift my environment and send me opportunities to fulfill that. And then the top 3 for yesterday was yoga, to budget, and to record a YouTube video. And it worked. Now back to the psychological aspect real quick. This really works for me because, like I said, psychologically, it's like a mental note in your head. When you set your intentions, it's easy to hang on to and to remember, like, that's what my goal is for that day. And I remember when I was outside yesterday doing my yoga and I finished up, it's typical of me to try to reflect after my session to see like what I've gotten out of it, what I downloaded, or any lessons that I took away. And I realized that I couldn't come up with what I got out of it. You know, I just did it. And I felt like, well, Aigner, what was the reason for that? What did we learn? How did we grow? You know how I am. And then I remembered psychologically that I'm on a productivity retreat. And that's all. I had to remember that today's intention is to be productive, to produce. So basically, me just doing the yoga was the intention. And I found grace in that because now it's not about the deep dive, or it's not about what I learned, how I grew. Today's just about doing the thing, doing it and getting it done. All right, we're on a productivity retreat. And, you know, that felt good because then it was like, yeah, you know what, hell yeah. And then I pushed on. I didn't feel like I needed to go any deeper than that. I felt like just doing it was enough. All right, sweethearts, that concludes our video. I really hope that this helps you along your journey. If you do try this out, let me know how it turned out for you. And let me know down in the comments what type of retreat you are going to be going on this week. All right, I'll see you guys all next week. And as always, follow that big old smile inside your heart, baby.